Trust me, this list was a damn sight easier than the last one to do, because when they suck, you just fucking know they suck. So yeah, let's just start with number 10, which is... Now yes, I know I gave this movie a pretty good score back when I did it, but I've got an excuse for that. It was one of my first reviews, so give me a fucking break. I didn't know what I was doing, and let's be honest, when you're naive, you just say what you gotta say. Okay, I'm fine with the fact that these movies are just churned out like butter, but maybe I'm just thinking that after 8 movies now of cliche, of, you know, making massive vaults go down the middle of a highway with 2 muscle cars and outrunning a fucking submarine, you'd think that, like the X Factor, maybe this just needs a year where you don't churn out another movie where cars have to be involved in a bank robbery, and oh wait, yeah, if you do it, you get immunity from the government to not get arrested. Fuck me, after 8 times, maybe you just think that, yeah, it's time to stop, and maybe the immunity's probably starting to run out. Yeah, I gave it a good score. I do enjoy the Fast and the Furious movies away from the jokes. Yes, this video is a bit more sweary than most, but when the movies suck this bad, I just can't help it. I enjoy Fast and the Furious, but maybe enough is enough. That is why it is not as low down or high up, however you look at it, as a lot of the movies on this list. So let's get lower down on that list to number 9, which is... Now in no way is The Dark Tower on my list because it's the worst movie of the year, because you'll see later it ain't, but it's because there was 8 books in this series of The Dark Tower, and it's almost like they lost all faith in it and they didn't do what they should have done, which is what Lord of the Rings did when they had epic books to go by. They made 3, now 6, epic 3-hour movies explaining what they could. Of course you can't do everything in the books, it's just impossible, but this movie just gave us an hour-and-a-half snippet of not even a whole book. That is a bit of spit in the face. Now, I'm talking really for a lot of the fans, maybe, of the Dark Tower series. Obviously, I'm not one. I went in because it looked really good. But they just completely sold off the wrong thing. I think they're trying to lead us on to something that is going to be a series. But what a weak start. Really, they should have trusted its audience and given us a 3-hour epic movie, because it's just got no faith in its audience to do so. That is why it's here. It's so insulting. You did a good movie, make it more. Make it so we want the next one. If anything, now I'm just wanting it to be explained as to why I got an hour and a half and not 3 hours. That's just fucking lazy, and there's no need for that. That really did insult me. Okay, I went a bit mad and a bit sort of deep for me on that one, but it gets worse, and I'm hoping to just get a bit funnier because it's driving me a bit mad. So the next one is... Now, in trying to create a new universe, much like Marvel, you need a pretty good pitch. Now, I'm not saying that Tom Cruise is a bad actor, but Robert Downey Jr. did it 1,000 times better than you, sir. I personally think that The Mummy, this is where the buck stops. I really do. With movies of the same name that were more entertaining in the 90s with Brendan Fraser welding 2 guns with really terrible CG, and I was in this movie in the theatres wishing I was watching that one rather than sitting where I was wanting to go home and watch them. That, for me, I think means that either they start this Dark Universe thing again, or they just leave it where it lay. I don't know why things have to be in a universe these days. They've already got 2 Mummy movies and a 3rd one that we don't mention, so why do it? Doesn't matter who you've got as your leading man. If the movie ain't good, I'm sorry, Universal, just stop where you are. The Mummy isn't going to work, nor is Jekyll and Hyde, which you're obviously trying to sell next. However good Russell Crowe is, just stop. I'm sorry, but The Mummy just didn't work. let's just go on to number 7, please. Much like the Fast series, I really do think that Pirates of the Caribbean really has had its day. I think personally Gore Verbinski had a lovely set of 3 movies there, and yet they still tried now to sort of squeeze every ounce out of that orange that they can to try and get another set of movies going. And it just feels really bland now. And when you have to make the same characters, yeah, fine, they're all there, I love them all, I love Gibbs, and yeah, they've brought Elizabeth back, and etc, and blah 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 blah. But when you have to make Jack a drunken fool to get a cheap laugh, I truly do think you have to stop. So I have got, before we move on, a little message for Johnny Depp. Johnny, I know you like playing Jack, but please stop. It's becoming embarrassing. You're an old man now. For all of us, and for all the young actors out there, just show them that you don't have to be a dick anymore. Please, just stop. Please. I'm going to move on now, but just please think on it. Thank you. Let's move on. Now, much like before with The Dark Tower, this movie is based on a novel, so when you've got source material, you really have no excuse when you have a bad movie. So that's 2 that have made shit movies now, and that's no good. But when I watched the trailer for The Snowman, it looked intense, dark, like this murderer had everyone on his heels because nobody knew who he was. It was brilliant. You had some amazing actors in there. I love Michael Fassbender, I really do. Rebecca Ferguson, I love her as well. There is some fantastic acting in this movie. Val fucking Kilmer is in this movie. When you got Batman in your movie, you've got to be good. And I got a really dull, a really bland story that I really don't think even touched fantastic writing or anything. It was so uninspired. There was no character development. It's almost like if you didn't read the book that this was based on, the writers and the director and they just didn't care. If you'd not read it, it's your own hard cheese because they clearly did for research. That is bad. I really do think it is. I was left really soggy and just damp by this movie. It was just horrible and bleh. Bleh. Let's move on now. It's disgusting. Yet again, in these top 10 videos, I'm going back to some of my first ever reviews, and Sleepless was one of the first. And, well, you got Jamie Foxx, an Oscar-winning actor, in a Taken clone in a hotel room. And, like, 4 other rooms in that hotel. I'm bored even saying it. Sleepless was an extremely boring movie with a cast that was too good for its shit storyline and its just laziness and its, as I said, its obvious clone of other movies. I have literally nothing to say about it. I really don't. What I will say is I'll put it down to my own naivety that I went to go and see it, so I'm very sorry, brain, but I was new to the game and I had to go and see some films and I thought it would be good, but it sucked and I'm sorry. There, that was Sleepless. Let's go, let's move on now. I told you I'd get more insane. Hercule Poirot is a big thing in the household of my in-laws. When you've got David Suchet, who has played a character for so long and has got a huge reputation for being a brilliant actor in that role, take a man like Kenneth Branagh, a man who has a lot of respect in Hollywood, is a director and actor with a lot of backing behind him. Take these 2 things and throw everything you knew about Poirot out the wall, let it splatter all over the window and the wall in a big bloody piley mess, and show the Americans that you can like British things because we've made it easy for you to figure these things out and given you a shit ending because no one really cares, because that's what they think of Poirot. A lot of people don't agree with me that this movie sucked. I really do think that they're missing the point. If you've got that much source material to go on and you completely ignore it because you want to make money, I really do think that is a swift kick in the nuts for anyone who is a Poirot fan. I wasn't a huge one, but being with my partner as long as I have been converted to like a few Poirots. To watch a man like Kenneth Branagh, who is a smart man, take the complete piss out of that character really got on my nerves. And that is why it is quite low down, because don't take something that has been around for a few decades now and just completely fuck it up. That is just bad news, buddy. Bad, Kenneth. Bad. Bad. Let's move on, shall we? I'm not a huge fan of disaster movies as it is. I can take them or leave them. They don't really bother me because they seem to just put a big CGI wave in it and I'm supposed to be amazed. Geostorm did not change anything for me in this one. If anything, it just makes me feel a bit sad for Gerard Butler, who seems to be just choosing crap because maybe he needs a paycheck or something. I don't know. I feel bad for him because I like him. I think that Law Abiding Citizen is a fantastic film, and so is 300. After that, I think the man's been sliding down a shit hill for quite a few years. I really do think that Geostorm is the laziest plot in the world. It tried to outsmart us and itself by giving it a twist that was totally pathetic, and it actually made me audibly laugh in a theatre, because that is not a twist. That is what 8-year-olds call a twist when they're playing in the park and go, I've got a great idea, this will really make our playground time fun if I make this twist. Ha 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 ha. No, terrible. Let's just move on, because that's just, I'm done now with that one. This will be quick because he needs to be stopped, people. Michael Bay needs to be stopped. Please. I know you get attractive women like Nicola Peltz and Megan Fox in your movies, but that doesn't mean that boobs sell films. Michael, please. Transformers The Last Night had the funniest ending because it was just so stupid in just, oh yeah, Optimus is going to change to the evil side for 5 minutes until he hears the voice of a stupid fucking Mustang, changes him going, Bumblebee, your real voice. What the actual fuck? That literally pissed me off and made me literally die with laughter. Just stop, Michael Bay, just stop. Let's just, this is number one, okay? Let's just go to number one. Much like Avatar, this movie tricked a lot of people into thinking it's extremely good, and some people that I admire on YouTube literally think this is one of the most beautiful films ever. But, as I say, like Avatar, that's just wrong. Avatar had a weak plot, but James Cameron said, look at my funny blue people and look at my, you know, I took 6 years to make a film that looks this lovely. That's great. But Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets looks lovely, yeah, that's fine, but they've masked the shit plot with this CGI. When you've got a leading man that weak and your co-star is better than you, Rihanna was terrible. Her plot literally made me laugh. There's a lot of laughing in these terrible films, and I think I'm completely justified because it was just awful. I really do think that Valerian is the weakest thing in the world that just shoves pretty colours in your face. I'm not an idiot. I can watch a film and enjoy them, and I like sci-fi. Mr. Luc Besson, you, sir, I know you wrote The Fifth Element, and that's great, and yeah, love it, whatever, but you fucked up royally on this one, brother. This film was awful. Totally the worst film in the world. I can't even talk about it. Literally making me want to be sick. Didn't like it. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets was the worst film because it was just so uninspired and just so stupid and just wants to shove visuals at me. I need story and visuals, I'm sorry. I just need both because it doesn't fool me. Okay? That was my top 10. Done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, I am joking. I'm not that mean. I'm not that contrived. I had a lot of fun writing these two lists down. Thank you so much for watching. It has been an incredible year for me on YouTube. I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait to do it all again next year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, of course, you remember, you'll know the drill. Follow me on all the socials. Click that subscribe button. I'll see you all on the next video.